Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Okay, we are back and working on our little Christmas house scene, and I put in the flooring. We've got our little holes in. What I want to work on now, I think, is the fireplace. And so I pulled out, got the Tim Holtz Sizzix Thinlits die that does this fireplace. It's Fireside 664193. And I just cut out this piece and the flame because this is gonna be way too big for our house, but that front piece is actually a good size for our fireplace. So that's gonna be our fireplace, and then we're gonna have our decorated Christmas tree is gonna go over there. So for our fireplace, set aside the house for now, I have gone ahead and cut some papers. And so I've cut a piece of black cardstock to to create like a box or a partial box for this to go up on. And it's 4 by 3 3/8. And I'm gonna grab my scoreboard and I'm gonna score on the 3 3/8 side at 3/4 of an inch. And my black paint exploded on my hand, so please excuse the fact that I have black paint under my nails. All right, so that's 3/4 of an inch. And then on the 4-inch side, we're gonna score at 3/4. 1. Oh, that wasn't supposed to be 3/4. That was supposed to be at 1/4. 1. And it's gonna be covered, so it's not a big deal. 3 3/4. So let's get folding. Like so. And I need scissors. And so this is gonna go like this and like this. I'm trying to figure, I had not figured this fully out because this will go on here like so. And this is taller than it needs to be. Oh no, I know why. All right, I am gonna cut away this center box created by our scores, and I'm gonna come a little to the left of the score line and angle in to take out bulk, and a little to the right of this score line and cut like that, and then cut along the score line. So that will go like so. All right, let's move the scissors out of my hand. So that will go like that. So it gives something for me to glue the top to without having a ton of extra bulk in there that we really don't need. So again, I don't know how well you can see. Let me grab a white pen. There's a score line here and here, and we're gonna cut those away up to the score line that's up here. And I've got a dog who wants to come in. Let me go deal with that. So again, I'm on this side, gonna come to the right of my score line a little bit and cut. Come from the left a little bit on here and cut, and then cut away this piece here. And then we will glue it like so. Now, I also cut a piece to go in the bottom because I realized after I had cut this piece, and I didn't want to cut it again because it was the second time I was cutting it because I forgot I needed a top part. I realized I didn't want it to just sit on the floor like this. It needed something to go in front. So I die cut out this piece from the set, but I realized we needed something to back it, and that we would want to lift this up a little bit. So I cut enough to create just like a little box to go behind this piece. It'll make sense once it's assembled. Let's glue this so we can let it sit and dry while we're working on scoring and folding and creating that piece. So I'm just gonna add glue on there and on there. I'm gonna grab a couple binder clips so that they can hold it while I'm working on something else. Goes like that. This goes like that. That's not on there correctly at all. All right, let's re-glue. And I'm gonna hold it like this so that I can see where I'm putting my pieces. So we're gonna put glue here and here. This one's gonna come in. And we're gonna fold that over like so. And hold it down for a sec. And apparently I'm not gonna need the binder clips because, oh, this is not wanting to cooperate. Come on. Make sure this is the correct width. Why is this not? All right, this is not cooperating great, but it should be all right. I should be able to make it work. I'm gonna re-glue this one. I am not, because it does not want to come off. All right. And we are definitely going to have to trim some of this out since the opening is wider. And you can see it here. But basically, we'll glue that down on there. And it is too high. How did I make this too high? Did I fold score the wrong way? You know what it is? I measured at the bottom for the width, not the top, which is fine. But did I not measure the height correctly? It's definitely too high. My math was off on my height. All right, we're just gonna end up trimming stuff down on the fly once I get the other pieces assembled. So what I'm gonna do is that's gonna go on like so. And once we glue that on, I'll trim around, and now we're gonna do this piece, which goes this way, right? Yes, will fit in there like so. So let's score it, and we're just gonna score it at a 1/4 inch all the way across. So 1/4, half, 3/4, 1. And we're just gonna fold up. That one's probably gonna need to get trimmed off. I probably should have cut it a little less than 1 1/4 inches, because that's what I did. I did it the width of the opening and then 1 1/4, because I wanted to have a little tab for sealing it. So I'm just gonna cut that off because you're not gonna see any of this. So it really doesn't matter what it looks like. Just needed something to glue this piece to. So we're gonna run glue along here. And do that. All right, now let's pull out some fired brick and ink these pieces up so that the bricks are red. And I'm gonna just put down a scratch piece of paper and grabbed, I'm gonna use the archival because I'm hoping I can use the janky busted pieces for the side and cover the side with them. I'm hoping there'll be enough that it'll cover the side. We're gonna see. So I'm just going to put some ink on a block, grab a brush, and paint those suckers fired brick. Just dampening my brush a little. Let's add a little bit more water to that. Not going on like I thought it would. All right, let's do a tester because I may be yeah, we're definitely gonna do it this way. Swipe is working much better. I'm liking it more. I was a little worried that it wasn't indented enough to do the swipe, but that's much better than this. Let's see what happens if I go across it, if I can salvage this instead of having to re-die cut it. I think I'm gonna go with it because I'm not sure how noticeable it's gonna be once we get this whole thing assembled. So I think I can live with it. Now we are going to attach that to the front. Gonna add a little more glue here because my attempts to tweak that did not go well. All right, this is gonna go in here. Like so-ish. Actually, what I may do is attach that, then slip the box in. Yep, I think that's what we're gonna do. But first we're gonna trim this out as best I can. I think I may do is grab my ink pad and just kind of running along in there, running along the edges here. I think I may end up cutting something out to serve as a mantle on top, but I haven't figured out what I want to do for that yet. All right. Oh, and let's do the top edge of this thing. I'm gonna center this on here. This is definitely fiddly, and I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. I just didn't come up with one. Actually, I'm gonna scooch this down just a hair because I also die cut the grate that goes in front of the fire. So I'm gonna use this part to glue that in. All right, so that's gonna go in like that. So let's fold the wings up a little, put some glue here and here. Place it in here. Now, if I had cut this to the right height, we wouldn't be fiddling quite so much with this. But yeah, somewhere my measurements went off. All right. And then we're gonna go glue along here, glue along here. And then wrap those around the sides. And then hopefully, let's stay there. I've got enough of this to cover this up, which I think it might be good. I might be able to scrounge that out and just add a little piece over there from where I cut off. Excellent. Kind of wishing I had this hang over a little so it would cover up the raw edge, but I think I might just run a little ink over there and that should be good enough. Find a piece to go in here, because let's face it, this is going to be on the side. Nobody's going to look that closely at this part. So I'm just going to add a little glue. Bring this in over here. Let that dry. While that's drying, I'll work on this side. It's definitely going to need something for our mantle. Leave that to dry. And I'm thinking we can do a wood mantle. And what we can do is fold along this edge right here. I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer and straighten that up. And then we can add that as a wood mantle. And I'm just trying to decide, I want it to go above. And so I'm gonna just put a few scrap pieces of paper. This might work. Yes, it will. All right, we're gonna just fold this piece of paper in half. I glue that on there. I can glue the mantle onto that, and I might need to, yeah, I need to lift that up more. All right, let's trim this piece off. Let's shorten this since, yeah, way too tall, and that'll give me another scrap piece of paper to add to the scrap piece of paper pile. I'm gonna grab bigger scissors because then I'm likely to get it straighter because it's only gonna be one cut across. Right, this was so simple in my head. Like I was like, oh, this will be easy. I'll just die cut this and put it in there and it'll be quick and an easy way to create a fireplace. I would have been so much better off just creating the whole fireplace from the get-go. All right, so that's what it's currently looking like. I would like to add our mantle, but I don't want the mantle sitting down over the brick. I'm just not liking that. I want it to be here. So I need to build up behind to give that something to sit on. So let's trim that off, that off. We've got this piece. And so I'm just layering up here to give us some bulk. And it needs to be the thickness of this piece I folded over. So I'm gonna need to add a few more pieces of scrap paper. Let's see what I've got floating around on my desk as leftovers. So let me find some scrap paper I can use. Oh look, I've got some over here. All right, miscuts and offcuts and all sorts of flubs. So we're just gonna layer up a bunch of pieces of paper. And it doesn't even, I don't think necessarily have to be the full width. The full length. I just can't have it be any deeper or we're gonna run into problems when we put it in to the room. All right, I'm gonna figure this out and come back because, yeah, this is taking forever. Okay, I paper shimmed the heck out of this, so it's now going to sit up at the height that I want. I want to deal with the fact that we now have this funky things to the side that you might see. That's going there based on where our holes are. So I can't have mantle sticking off the end going that way because, well, I guess I could scoot it a smidge. All right, I'm just trying to figure out, you know what? We are going to thread our lights through so that I can figure out this placement with our lights in place. And I decided not to use one of these because I figured it was going to be too much of a pain in the neck to cut the wood down and paint it. And yes, so should have done that. Okay, so I've got my base. I'm going to go up through that hole. Have it go all the way up. I'm gonna put a piece of tape to hold that piece in place and put some Velcro dots on the bottom of this to hold it in place. So let me do that so I don't have to deal with it knocking around while I'm attaching the rest of it. All right, so that should stay in place while we do the lighting. Was I on screen for any of that? I hope I was on screen for that. Oh, this is turning out to be one of those projects that, and I almost messed it up because I almost forgot to put it through the house as well. And then we're gonna go down through this hole and down through the hole underneath, which I managed to get it through. Go me. And then we're gonna hold that in place and do this. Oop. Managed to wrap the lights around the thing holding my phone. All right, let's do that. And I'm gonna leave, this is like, there's a kink in it right about there and it causes problems with going through. All right. I want to leave 1, 2, 3 lights standing. So we're going to pull that to there and kink it over so it doesn't come out. Now I'm going to move over to the other hole. Thread it through and through. So I threaded it through the bottom. I'm threading it up through here. I think at this point, I need to glue it into place and clamp it into place so that I can pull my lights fully through and make sure I've got them all the way where they need to be. So I think we're good. We should be all right. Because yeah, that light should be out, which is 1, 2, 3. I think I may leave it at 4 right now. And then underneath, that just leaves 1 bulb that I don't think you're gonna see. Yeah, because what we'll do is pull that all the way down. And by doing that, there's just 1 bulb left back here. I'm gonna put a piece of tape on here to help hold everything in place so it doesn't move around on us. I'm just gonna tape that in place and slide this forward a little bit. Hopefully we'll just leave it alone And any moving will involve lifting like so. Now that we've got that, what we'll do is slip this over our lights. Oy. I think I'm gonna have to set this aside and leave it for a while to dry before we can finish working on the mantelpiece, because yeah, it needs to dry completely so that when I move it, it doesn't slide about. And I think I'm gonna add some more glue back here. So there's some other stuff we can work on while this is set aside to dry. So I'm gonna do that. So while our piece is drying so that hopefully my house is secure on its base, let's work on some other random bits and bobs that need to be done for our house. So I want to put these wreaths onto the door that's going on the front of our piece. And so for that, I want to color them. And since it's metal, I figured the easiest way to do that would be with some alcohol inks. So I've got a paintbrush and a palette. I keep meaning to put the alcohol inks in here, but I need to sort them by color and do it like in order and label them before I do that. And I haven't had time to do that yet. So it's one of those projects that one of these days I'm gonna do. All right, let's start with green, and I've grabbed Everglade because I figured that's a very green, very Christmassy green. And I've also got isopropyl alcohol to help keep it liquidy, because once it dries, I'll need to refresh it. And let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just dipping my brush in the alcohol ink and painting essentially. And so that guy is turning green. So I'm just gonna go ahead and paint the wreaths green, and then the berries I'll obviously do in red. Just make sure you don't add too much of the isopropyl alcohol, because then it'll dilute your color too much like I just did. And make sure you get the tops, because you'll be able to see those, and the sides. Sorry if my fingers are in the way, but kind of have to hold it up so that I can see where I need to add ink. All right, let me just take a close look at this, make sure I got it covered completely. Okay, now that the green's all done, what I'm going to do is take a paper towel and clean off my brush with isopropyl alcohol. Pour alcohol over it onto a paper towel until you get all of the alcohol ink out, because alcohol ink will be reactivated by alcohol. So if you leave red paint in it, or green in it, when you go to get your red alcohol ink, you'll end up having brown alcohol ink going on your project. Could also stick some in a cup, which if I had a cup handy, I would do. Let me see if I can find one. Here we go. All right, so I'm gonna pour a little in here and just swirl the brush around, because it's taking too long the other way. Because yeah, the green, I got a lot of green on that brush, and it is intense color wise. All right, I think I am good enough. So let's put down some red, and I grabbed crimson and do the bows and the berries in the crimson. All right, I'm gonna have a bit of a cleanup. Those guys are done, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so let's get on with assembling our door. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my Aleene's The Ultimate glue for adhering them because they're big honkin' metal pieces. Let's see if there's any left in this. Oh, yes, there is, and out it's coming. And we're making a bit of a mess because I wasn't paying enough attention to my glue. I'm gonna kind of do this to share glue between the two since I've got way too much glue on there. Ugh. And that, and that. And I need to grab something to clean up the mess I made because I can see glue everywhere. Let's see, I've got a toothpick. Let's see if I can scrape off glue. Ugh, I'm getting glue all over my fingers. All right, I am gonna lift these off because if I double glue them, which means if I leave the glue on here to dry, and then I can more easily get the glue off in the spots I don't want it, like up here. And then reapply glue, it will adhere better than if I just glue it straight on. I also need to add a little bit of glue kind of on the other sides of these guys. That's the one thing I hate about these tubes of glue is that the glue comes out and goes splodging everywhere. All right, I'm gonna leave those to dry, and I just realized I should have waited to do that because I pulled out. I'm gonna stick a couple brads in for the doorknobs, but that's gonna have to wait because this mess needs to dry and I need to move it out of the way. I die cut to go in our fireplace flames out of vellum. So I got a couple vellum flames here that I want to ink with alcohol inks. So I'm going to do one in yellow and one in red. And so let me grab my blending tool, which seems to have disappeared, that I had out a little while ago. I had it. I brought it over here. I know I did. Where did I put it? Yeah, this is turning into one of those projects, or to that point in this project. Okay. Found it. Where like I can't find anything and I'm making a mess and nothing's going right. Yeah, we're at that point of this project. Happens at least once during every like major project like this, where I do a big mixed media project. There's always that point where it's like, am I done yet? And things just start going haywire because I'm eager to be done. All right, so that is Sunshine Yellow. That came out very dark, I think because it's a rather old bottle and it's getting to the end of the bottle, but that's okay. So we've got that one. And then I figured I'd just go with, I've got red pepper, and I'm gonna add a little, and then maybe a little more of the yellow, so we get kind of a yellowy orange on there, or a reddish orange. All right, so those two will go into our fireplace kind of offset from each other, and so it'll have lights behind it, and so that'll give us our flaming fireplace. All right, I'm gonna set those aside, and I'm done with the alcohol inks for now, as far as I know, I believe. So let's start with our door, and I'm gonna grab my stamping mat out so that I can poke the holes in the door for the brads. Teeny tiny brads to give dimension to our doorknob. just gonna set it down on here and use this to press those down all the way. So I grab our glue back and glue these guys on. Let's try and get them lined up a little better, and I'm gonna grab a paper towel and try and clean some of that glue smooches I got off of there. So there's our door, and I'm gonna leave that a minute and let the glue dry before attaching it to our base. Let's see if we can get maybe our fireplace done today. So there it is in place. It needs to get glued down, and I need to add this to it. But again, let's try to take a look and see. So if it's going down right there, and our mantle's going on like so, that's as far over as the mantle can go. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and put glue on top here so that I can get the mantle situated with regards to how far this way it can go. And then we can pull it out, and I'm gonna put a little glue down the front there just to get it glued on like so. Now this side you're not gonna see at all, but this side, if you stick your head in, you might see. Let me grab my ink again just to rub a little along this spot here. Ooh, that got really dark. And then what I want to do is come in and let's see, I think that's about how far out I want that to go. And so I'm then gonna fold it over, and let's do it on our table. I'm gonna grab this edge and add kind of a score to it and try and get it into a good corner and go like so, but then trim it down so it's only going as far as I need it to, especially in the front there. All right, I'm gonna do that there, cut that piece away, and check and see how far down it should be going. I'm tempted to just leave it there. Let's go ahead and glue this and see how it looks. Sorry about being a little bit scattered, but it's at the what's left to do stages and random things that need to get done. All right, yep, no, I think I'm gonna trim that straight across so that, and I know it looks weird here because it's not even across, but once it's in place, it should look okay because we've got the wall cutting it off. So there's our mantle. So I need to add my flames. I'm just gonna put glue on the back of this piece and tuck my flames in. Let's do the yellow flame in front. And turn it the right way so that it's Okay, we're gonna glue the two flames together because, yeah, trying to get them in is being fiddly because I have no good way to grab it to hold it in place till the glue dries, kind of thing. All right, let's do like that, and like that, and hopefully the glue will dry with it in the right position. Come on. You know what? I am going to put a crease in our flames and use that to glue them down on the little shelf that's in there. And I think they'll fit in better and it'll look better and they'll sit upright and not be dancing out of the fireplace. Yeah, I think that works. All right, this was definitely not my best plan construction-wise for how I put this fireplace together. Oh, definitely on the struggle bus with it. All right, let's put it in the house. I'm gonna go ahead and glue it down, and let's see how the flames look with the lights on. Oh yeah, that's cool. I like that. So we've got firelight. Okay, I am going to turn off my flames, pull these guys up a little bit more, and twist this down so that they stay kind of below our fire. That should be good. I'm gonna put some glue on here and glue this sucker in. Glue this guy in. I'm just gonna slip it over our lights and glue him down. All right, so the fireplace is done. For our front, got our stairs that are gonna go there, our door, which is getting attached there. I went ahead and did the little awning that's gonna go there. So let's glue those on, and I think that's where we're gonna call it quits for today because I'm about done. Because we're gonna have to go like so and put this on like so. And then what I'm gonna do is stick one distressing pad there, one here to help hold that in place. I think that's probably gonna be it for today. I did paint my Tim Holtz people, so I'm gonna give you a few tips regarding painting these guys. This is the one I started painting them and then realized partway through that I should have given them a coat of gesso. So this one had a coat of gesso on it, then got painted. These did not, and these were a pain in the neck to paint. The paint did not want to adhere very well. So my suggestion to you is if you get the resin, Snowman, Santa, whatever, and you want to paint them, give them a coat of white gesso first and then paint. And you're also gonna want a very fine detail brush. And I suggest painting the lighter areas first. This way, if you go over, you can cover it up with the darker paint. Because yeah, there was a lot of touching up. So it is very fiddly. It will take a while, but that's what those guys look like. And we can decide if we're gonna do a snowman and a Santa or both snowmen when we come back to finish this up. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.